I even know which is the right button.
Oh, we're recording right now.
Yeah, we're just going to go.
Hey.
Well, you know what? I don't even have my little opening.
Oh.
Hold on. We're
in
recording.
A world where destruction, burgity-hurgity-burg,
Well, I have that. No, like welcome to back to the whole thing. Like, what? Hold on. I know. Well, I got it here. Oh, yeah.
Western Media something or other.
What is this? What are we? Host opening and closing. Here it is. I did it from June 18th. Here it is. Welcome to Back to the Frame Rate. Proud production of the Western Media Podcast. Okay, I got it. All right, here we go. We're going to keep this all in.
That's awesome.
In the dying embers of human existence, as the asteroid, a behemoth the size of Texas, hurtles relentlessly toward Earth, the world braces for an apocalyptic end. Deep beneath the bunker, a refuge plunges into the bowels of the Earth. Here the chosen gather, their purpose clear, to preserve the very soul of our civilization. The 35 and 70 millimeter prints that encapsulate the magic, the emotion, and the dreams of generations past. These masterpieces, each frame a testament to the human spirit, are carefully cataloged and cradled in the cavernous confines of the bunker. Perhaps there was room for more. For friends and family yearning for salvation, but sacrifices must be made. The movie nerds stand united, the keepers of a flame, promising a future where the art of storytelling endures, transcending the boundaries of time and space. God help us all.
Welcome to Back to the Frame Rate, part of the Western Media Podcast Network. In this cinematic crusade, we journey through films on VOD and streaming platforms, deciding their fate, salvation in our vault of legends, or eternal banishment in the flames of the coming asteroid apocalypse. We're still waiting. You can find all of our episodes of our show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app, or find us on social media at Back to the Frame Rate. I'm Nathan Shore, and accompanying me tonight is Sam Cole.
Nathan, it is a pleasure to be here, and I just wanted to say that it fills my soul with mirth and joyful merriment to return. Here we are, back to the frame rate yet again.
Yeah, we are going back to the frame rate.
Exactly.
Very Inception-y.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Well, no, it's been a good 4 months since we've sat here at the mics talking about movies. It's good to be back. And we've been talking for about a month about what we're going to do to bring some episodes back. And we decided that, in a few months, Avatar 3 is coming out, but what could we do to tie that all together? And one idea was to do the entire Avatar franchise. And does anyone really need to hear more Avatar talk? But we're both excited for the third film, but this became an opportunity to go back and talk about some of Jim Cameron's earlier films. But I loved the idea of going into some of his non-franchise films, some of the ones that maybe aren't really talked about as much. So here we are tonight talking about The Abyss. And this is exciting because this is a film that I haven't seen in ages. And up until this past week, confession, I never even saw the special edition. So I watched both in the past week or so. So this is pretty cool. And coming up also, the second film in our Cameron retrospective is going to be True Lies, coming out in a couple of weeks or a month or so. So we've got a little mini Cameron marathon, but this is cool. This is our first James Cameron film that we're talking about on the show.
I'm excited about this.
So I have a plot synopsis here and a trailer. Let me just go through this quickly. We'll get into a little bit about the film here, but the plot synopsis is Ed Harris and Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio. Is that how you say it?
Antonio or Antonio?
Mastrantonio are formerly married petroleum engineers who still have some issues to work out. They are drafted to assist a gung-ho Navy SEAL team headed by Michael Biehn with a top-secret recovery operation. A nuclear sub has been ambushed and sunk under mysterious circumstances in some of the deepest waters on Earth. And here is, I was about to say I was gonna play a part of the trailer, but I don't know if Sammy, you're familiar with this. Finding a trailer of this film, I don't remember if there is an official like real trailer for this, because I'm finding a lot of like those like modern trailer mashups, and I thought there was just a straightforward traditional trailer of this film back from 1989, but all I could find was feels like a teaser of the most masturbatory like tease of this film ever, where it's like Jim Cameron brought you the most greatest sci-fi movie ever in The Terminator, and then Aliens. And here, I'm just going to play it because it's hysterical.
In 1984, director James Cameron thrilled audiences with his vision of the future, The Terminator. In 1986, he created the science fiction masterpiece, Aliens. This summer, he will take you into a world no man has ever seen before. The abyss. Believe your eyes.
Oh, I'm sold.
Wow. Yeah, it's like this summer, forget the past two films. This one will blow them out of the mother effing water.
Yeah, this is the only real like original trailer teaser I could find from '89. So there's that. I was kind of surprised. I thought there was like a real like trailer for this, but I could not find anything.
Honestly, that's the only one that I found. I wasn't able to find any others as well. Making a quick comment though, I will say about this is interesting because this came out in the summer of 1989, and this was a crowded summer of mega blockbusters of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade and Ghostbusters 2, which didn't quite do as well. And
Batman around this time too?
Batman, same summer, License to Kill, James Bond, that also did not do that great. But this movie was actually scheduled to come out early in the summer, like I think as early as like Memorial Day weekend, and they were sort of over budget and delayed. So it came out way towards the end in August. And even for this particular recording, even though I don't have movie facts prepared, I know apparently I haven't seen this film, but there was another movie that came out earlier that year called Leviathan.
Oh,
that apparently, and correct me if I'm wrong, it didn't get the best reviews. And so I feel like when this came out, audiences were kind of like, oh man, another like underwater movie. But I am surprised that this didn't have more box office pull, but it certainly was not a failure. But this is not a like mega James Cameron hit. Like it was solid. It did well, cult following on VHS, but it looked like you had thoughts on that.
I'm glad you brought that film up but I think it goes deeper than that, because in 1985, I think 4 years before this, September 1985, they discovered the Titanic wreckage. And I think this, from what I was reading, this probably spurred a whole slew of underwater adventure films. And Leviathan, in 1989, there was no less than 4 movies that came out in this genre. You had Leviathan, you had The Abyss, you had Deep Star 6, if you remember.
That's
that
right.
movie.
I remember the poster for that as a young kid. Yeah.
And there was another one that was much more low budget called Lords of the Deep. All of these came out in like a 4 or 5 month span of time. And they're all like horror underwater adventure movies. And The Abyss, though, was pretty cagey about what it was about. I remember in the trailer, that I just played, kind of like explains it. Although the trailer, if I kept playing it, at the very end of it, mentions that it's not only an adventure, it's also a love story. And it was like, what? But it was really confusing. Like, what is this movie about? But I think there's a lot of marketing that was surrounding it while it was before it was coming out. Cause I remember Ed Harris and James Cameron getting out on the the Tonight Show or stuff talking about this film because I remember all the state of the art technology and the giant sets that were being constructed in like a nuclear reactor. This was a huge story.
Oh,
on
yeah.
how they made this movie, probably bigger than the movie itself in a lot of ways. But yeah, so all these movies are coming out around this time. So this was, it was a weird time for all these underwater adventures. There might have been other, I think there was later in the 90s, there were more like Deep Rising and Hard Rain, and there was more of these disaster movies and stuff.
I hear that. I wonder if audiences might have maybe felt a little inundated by it. But this is just in terms of the actual location, this was one thing that I had remembered to mention. I'm just reading this. Underwater sequences for the film were shot at a unit of the Gaffney Studio situated south of Cherokee Falls, outside Gaffney, South Carolina, which had been abandoned by Duke Power officials. So it was that huge tank, the nuclear power plant where they filmed all of it. That's really impressive that they kind of just took over that whole thing and like filled it with water.
Largest underwater set ever used on a film at the time. I don't know if, well, I'm guessing since then they have been. Maybe Titanic was bigger. I don't know.
I can't imagine how claustrophobic it was filming some of that stuff under that. I mean, just my own, personal feelings of like, just my God,
So, one other thing I wanted to mention about this, one of the, I think the best parts of this movie is this movie has some incredible sound design, I think.
Oh my God, yes.
I remember when, I don't know if it was like THX or whatever, one of the Dolby platforms was released. When I got a good sound system back in mid 90s or 96 or 97, I ran out and I remember getting this on letterbox VHS that had the surround sound. I remember getting this back then. It was the theatrical version, of course, but it was so important for me. I remember going to Suncoast Video and getting this and probably like Terminator 2 and I don't know what else. I think it was like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, or maybe the box set at the time. Those were like 5 or 6 movies I purchased at the time, and it was so important for me and I had all the speaker setups in my house, and this was one of the ones I remember buying at the time at Suncoast. And
oh my God, that must have been great for that. Yes. I mean, just everything, like the dialogue through the helmets, the bubbles, the sound of like dripping water, the environment. Like, I think I could be wrong, but this may have won best sound editing for the Oscars, I think.
I actually did keep track. I wanted to make a note of the awards that it won. This was nominated for 4 Academy Awards in the 1990 Academy Awards. It won actually for Best Visual Effects and was nominated for Best Art Direction. Lost to Batman. It was nominated for sound, but lost to Glory, and also lost to Glory for Best Cinematography.
I could see that. I could totally see that on the cinematography. Yeah. The special effects were great. I mean, for then, I mean, yeah.
Now this had a budget of 43 to 47 million, and it looks like worldwide, actually domestic gross was 55 million, and worldwide total was just over 90 million. So, did okay, not great.
Yeah, it was okay. It wasn't like a disaster. It was just kind of like sort of lukewarm. It was. I think it was like set up to be like a mega, like they were hoping for summer 1989, The Abyss.
Some of the people that worked, obviously, Jim Cameron was the writer of this, and music, Alan Silvestri. I think this is one of his most underrated scores.
I love the score. Yeah, it's great.
I mean, of course, most people know him from like Back to the Future. Predator I love Predator so much. No one ever talks about Sergeant Bilko, but whatever.
I saw that in the theater, actually.
But and now he's just doing Marvel stuff now, I feel like, Mikhail Solomon.
The cinematographer, yeah.
Yeah, same year he did Spielberg's Always. Yay, call back.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Ellie Escobar, we love you.
Yes. So some of the cast in this, we got Ed Harris as Bud Brigman. We talked about Mary Elizabeth Mastriantonio as Dr. Lindsay Brigman. Michael Biehn, Lieutenant Coffey. So it's some intense acting. Those eyes, that mustache was
really intense. I really noticed that. Yeah.
Leo Burmester is Catfish in this.
Gotcha.
Yep. I liked him in this. Now we got John Bedford Lloyd as Jammer, Todd Graff as Hippie, Kimberly
Yes.
Scott I love the names that they gave some of these characters. That plays One Night, but her last name is Standing in this, so she's One Night Standing in this. And what the hell? Chris Elliott is in this movie.
I love Chris Elliott. And it's funny, when I was watching it, I was thinking, if this was modern times and that movie was hugely successful, the Benthic Explorer, the boat like up on the surface, would get its own spin-off show. Like before they helped the riggers, like here's them like doing other stuff. And it's like an 8-episode miniseries about Chris Elliott on the ship.
Like the sad thing is I can't see Chris Elliott without ever thinking of that show we used to have called Get a Life. I don't remember if you ever saw that back in
God, I haven't thought about that in years. I barely remember that, but I think I did see that one.
I've never gotten over that show, but I love Chris Elliott, but I totally forgot he was in this, playing a very, normal, well, for the most part, like straight guy. So whatever.
He was. I just love it when he's like, when they're like on the ship and the hurricane is coming and he's like rocking back and forth in his chair. For some reason, that very much amuses me.
And I mean, one other note here: Ken Jenkins plays Gerard Kirkhill, who later on goes on to play Dr. Kelso in Scrubs. I love seeing him in this.
Oh yeah, it was great seeing him. Yeah, I thought he just fit in really well into the world of the movie. Like I totally accepted he was there. I was like, oh, there he is.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen it in a long time as well. And this was a movie that when it, I saw it in the theater in summer 89. When it came out on VHS, I think in 1990, as a kid, I watched this like over and over again on VHS. Yeah. And so it was strange watching it again because I was remembering what it felt like to watch it then, but seeing it through my adult eyes. And so when the submarine is mysteriously attacked, when I was a little kid, a lot of, I got the gist of the plot, but I was like a 9-year-old. So obviously there's like nuances that I missed. Like when Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio is talking about a tax audit, I didn't know what the hell that was, but I didn't realize, oh, well, maybe the aliens attacked the submarine because it had nuclear weapons on it. And they're like, they don't like that. They're threatened by that. So they flew past, you know what I mean? Like there was subtleties that I noticed that I went way over my head as a young kid. Cause I, like you, have not seen this movie in years.
Did you always watch the theatrical or the special edition growing up?
I watched the theatrical, but then I saw the special edition later on, and I recently watched both special edition and theatrical. Okay. So I'm definitely familiar with both of them, probably more so theatrical just because I watched that so many times that there were certain scenes where I was more remembering what it felt like watching it in my living room as a kid than like re-experiencing it again. It was a very strange viewing because it was like going into the past and the present. It was interesting, surprising for me in some ways.
I've only watched the theatrical version my whole life, and it's in the last like 10 years I read so much about how the special edition fixes all the problems with this movie, and I was like, why? And I've always put off watching it again because it's like 2 hours and like 50 minutes. And I'm like,
oh yeah,
it's going
like
back to this,
almost a 3-hour film.
And I'll say though, I'm not gonna get into it yet because we'll get to the ending a little bit later in our discussion, but I'll say though, just to spoil a little bit, I don't think it fixes many of the majority of the issues that I have with this movie. I think that the ending does have a lot of issues. And
I agree with you 1,000%.
And it does add gravitas somehow, but at the most part, my issues aren't so much with that. It has a lot to do actually with the overall some of the story and the script in this, and some of the acting. I think I have a real problem with this movie.
Oh boy, I hear you, and I'm surprised because as a kid, I loved action as a kid, and as a kid, I'd watch it with my friends. Oh, here comes the scene with the water, and they're sinking in the door, and blah blah blah. And now I was watching it like story, character, and it was just a very different experience. This was almost shockingly different for me, to be quite honest.
Yeah, there's a lot of uneven performances in this, and uneven writing. First of all, I'll say right off the bat, I think Ed Harris and Mary Elizabeth Mastriantonio are fantastic. And none of my problems with this movie are with them. In fact, I think Ed Harris is fantastic. I wish Ed Harris had done more like action films. It did remind me of like how good he is in like movies like The Rock and things like that. But I think that Ed Harris is fantastic. I have a problem with like the other grunts in this movie, which I don't think Cameron did a good job. He wrote the script, and I don't think he did a really good job like writing like authentic dialogue for these characters. I found it to be just like cringeworthy, some of this. And Sam, I captured some of it for our show because I think that some of it is just facepalm, the way that some of these guys talk to each other and the exposition that is dumped in this and the way that it's so stilted. There was one character, and I don't like to like, just really pile on a performance of one actor, but I could not think about the performance of the character of Hippie, Todd Graff, who is like, I wouldn't call him necessarily comic relief in this movie, but he is the character who just cannot shut up about everything that's going on around him in this movie.
Wait, is he the one, honestly, this is almost embarrassing, but some of them don't leave much of an impression. And is he the one that has the conspiracy theories for everything?
Yes.
And that the one line I did like when Mary Elizabeth is like, you think everything is a conspiracy. And he's like, that's because everything is.
Yes.
That's the one line. I was like, that was good. Yeah.
But I'll play these series of clips here because I think that it just kind of showcases some of the weakness in some of the dialogue in here.
Sir, we have a proximity warning light.
It's too damn close. You gotta back off.
To 130 knots, sir.
Nothing goes 130.
What is all this stuff?
Fluid breathing system. We just got them. You use it when you go really deep.
How deep?
Deep.
How deep?
It's classified. Can I borrow your rat?
What are you doing?
Hey,
Wait,
no.
You're gonna kill her!
It's okay, I've done this myself.
Oh, man, what are you just drowning her?
She's gonna be fine. I read this myself. Gonna be fine.
No, man, she's gonna drown. Look, she's freaking out.
Just going through a normal adjustment period.
Normal? Does this look normal to you? She's gonna drown.
It's got to be some kind of emergency plan to keep it away from the Russians, right? Look, they hotwire one of the nukes. They use some kind of detonator that they brought. Then they stick it back in the sub, fry the whole thing up. Bam! Slicker and snot.
What is he doing?
He can't make it to the door. He's gonna try and take him out himself.
Oh, God, he couldn't be that dumb. That guy's a trained killer.
Coming up on the big 10th thou. 12,000 feet. Jesus, I don't believe he's doing this.
Wow, it's funny when you hear it all together like that. It's like, oof.
Yeah, but I see the thing is, I don't think like people working on this rig would talk like this. Like it's so.
I know what you mean. There's almost like there's a self-awareness of I don't quite know how to put a finger on it, but it's almost like they're like a little too self-aware of the plot or their plot. You know what's interesting? I will say
the cameras are on.
Yeah, as much as I enjoy Avatar, I would go far as to say that I find the dialogue in Avatar clunkier than this film. Like some of this, because Cameron, I mean, I'm obviously a huge James Cameron fan, but he's very comfortable in the world of like military personnel or like, like working class, like oil, like he seems okay at that, but I know what you mean about the dialogue draws attention to himself. I feel, here's what it is. I feel it's James Cameron trying to get his ideas across through the characters. So all the dialogue sometimes sounds like him trying to think what he thinks these people would say, if that makes sense. I know what you're saying. I don't know if I'm explaining that well, but I definitely hear you. Yeah, I
get it, but it just seems it's such a clunky way of storytelling when there's so much great atmosphere and you've got some really good actors in this. That why isn't there's so many better ways of telling the story through this atmosphere and and the actors just emoting, and that's not what this movie is. But it just seems like there's so many effective ways, and he's done this so much better in other films.
Do you
as
think
well.
do you think here he might be showing and not? I mean, I'm sorry that he might be
Telling.
telling. He's telling, but not showing. Like he's kind of trying. It feels like he's overdoing it. It's like, oh my gosh, like nothing goes 180, or it's like, oh my gosh, hey, you're gonna hurt my rat, and it's like, but we can already see that he's putting your rat into the liquid.
That's all I'm seeing. Yeah, 100%.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a really good point.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering, like, because I didn't feel like when I see the movie Aliens, or like there was not this. I mean, that was also had a series of writers on it, like Walter Hill and other people there were probably doctoring a lot of the stuff.
Well, that's the thing. But the thing about Aliens is the characters in that movie, they say things that you'd think the character would say, so it feels more organic.
Yeah.
I would even go as far to say is there are multiple writers on Avatar 2, and the dialogue in the second Avatar film for me is preferable to the first one. Yes, there's cringy moments, but there is some mega cringe in the first Avatar. There's some kind of line of like, they're building some kind of shock and awe campaign. And they're like, oh man, those friggin' daisy cutters. Or they've got a line that's like, hey, Jake, we have to record our thoughts because remember, good science is good observation. And you're like, duh.
Yeah.
It's annoying. Yeah.
Well, I think it just could be that this might be his first go around as being the solo writer on a film, and he just wasn't really. Nobody was telling him no. I don't know. Who knows? But
I hear that. Like some of it doesn't bother me as much, but I know I feel exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. A couple other things is the overall storytelling. This is an odd film as well. I mean, it's science fiction. It is a love story. It is this standoff about this nuclear. It's a nuclear standoff with the Russians and the Americans. So we never really see the Russians also, and this alien entity that is very cryptic of what its motivations are. It's really hard to, especially in the theatrical cut, which really never explains. If you've never seen the extended cut, it really leaves you perplexed. Like, what was that all about?
Completely in the dark. And that literally, I mean, with what you're saying about the dialogue, that ties directly into the thing about this movie. Because when I was watching it, I was entertained and I was kind of liking it, but I had this underlying feeling of what is it about this movie that isn't quite working for me? I couldn't quite articulate it. Then it came to me and I was like, this is what it is. This to me seems more a movie of a bunch of multiple ideas rather than a fully cohesive story. It almost seems to me like James Cameron loves the ocean. He loves underwater. He loves military stuff. He likes sci-fi. So I feel like there's all these kind of not necessarily conflicting ideas, but it's like he's putting all the things into the movie that he wants to see, but they don't quite coalesce together in a way that Terminator 2 really does, or Aliens really, really does. Those movies really work. This movie is less than the sum of its parts, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. And again, I feel like I'm dumping on this a lot, but I do. Another thing I want to point out is I have some frustrations just with the inconsistencies on the rules of survival in this movie, which I find just perplexing. Like there was all this, there's several moments in this movie. Like there's all this concern about freezing to death when the heaters went down and Bud goes for a swim in 35-degree water.
And he goes for a swim. And how deep are they when he goes to a swim? Like, wouldn't that kill him? Like,
he's exposed to crushing pressure. Yeah. And are they 2,000 feet underwater or something like that? And he'd be dead, mangled. I mean, at the very least, his eardrums would be punctured. His eyeballs would be punctured. Like the crushing pressure going out there without a suit, there's no way that these people would survive it has nothing even really to do with the temperature. Yes, hypothermia would set in very shortly after coming out of this, but just the pressure alone, their lungs, their eardrums, their eyeballs would absolutely implode in that depth. And I know hey, it's a movie, suspend your disbelief, I get it, but when you set the rules that they need these suits to begin with to survive, and then they can just like abandon this, and I do have problems with that, with when we can just bend the rules. And what's supposed to be kind of a movie about science in some ways,
Well, that's the thing. And I'm all about suspending disbelief, but this is a situation where it kind of aggressively shows itself. And you're like, wait a minute, you can't not pay attention to it. This movie, I will say, it has some decent plants and payoffs in it. Like when Ed Harris throws his ring into the toilet and it like saves his hand from being crushed. Or when
his hand is blue the entire remainder of the movie.
I love the entire movie. Or like, I love it when the guy is like, you see my fist? I used to call this the hammer. And then he's the one that punches Michael Biehn. So we've established he's strong. But there are also manufactured things designed to create action sequences. So for example, the rig is connected to the Benthic Explorer via that cable. Now, when Coffee gets his orders to, go and get the nuke, he just leaves, and they could have solved that in a second. But because of that, that's the whole reason why he leaves, and they can't detach the cable. So then the cable falls, and the thing, to me, I feel like Cameron, I can feel him working hard on the script to find ways to mine action and drama where some of them feel organic, but some of it feels like sort of manufactured situations where it just, I can feel the screenwriting effort. Like, oh, how can I get this action scene in here? Oh, this has to connect in this. But the whole reason for the umbilical cord thing, that seemed manufactured because Coffee is this like, I mean, of course he's secretive, so he wouldn't have told the drillers, but I just felt a little bit of like screenwriting cheating on that one kind of just, but also considering that at the moment I'm like heavily involved in writing. So I'm hyper aware of, because I will struggle with the same thing. So when I see it in a movie like that, I'm like, oh, that could have been better, that kind of thing.
Yeah. He seems to also abandon the need for stakes in this movie as well. Like, in the last act of this movie, I know it's almost like a throwaway mention about how there is this nuke is going to set to go off in 3 hours.
Right.
I forgot all about this, that Ed Harris is going down to defuse this, but it's mentioned like one time in a very casual way that this nuke's gonna like go off. And I forgot that there's a time limit on this. It's never mentioned again. There's never a ticking clock on this whole thing.
Right.
It's never mentioned that, hey, they're running out of oxygen or they're gonna freeze. There's no like urgency. It's a very casual descent down this wall that is going down. And it's interesting choice of Cameron to write it this way, and with no real panic in this whole thing. Like, is he going to make it? And there's no real climax because of that. Like, where is and I find that interesting that this is how it's really just an unusual way, because we could have had a film where there's like the nuke's going to go off and the people on the rig are running low on oxygen, and is he going to this but there's also this silly thing where he is like, you can't like tell like which cord to cut, which I can't stand at all, but because like he's going to cut the right cord.
It'd be funny if he cut the wrong one and the screen went black like the end of The Sopranos and it just went to the credits.
Credits roll. Yeah,
but that's the thing. That's what I mean about the manufactured. I feel like there's a lot of action in this movie. I almost get this sense that Cameron himself felt that there was a lack of tension and drama. And so I feel like a lot of action scenes in this movie are trying to gin it up, where there's not quite a lot of tension there. So he's like, oh, okay, I'm going to do this thing where the cable falls and then they almost get pulled off of the abyss, off the cliff by being pulled into it. And then I'm going to do this thing where the compartment floods with water. Now I'm going to do a thing where, okay, they have no more electricity. They're going to freeze to death. But these things kind of, they're planted and paid off, but they tend to go nowhere. I will say too,
all
when
those
they
little
were
set pieces were so much more tense than anything that happened in the third act.
Exactly. They're tense in and of themselves, but they're kind of isolated. I actually, when they were creeping up on the submarine, on the sunken submarine, though that was visually really cool, it reminded me of Ripley and her team and aliens arriving on the planet. And I was like, my God, when I saw the scene with the submarine, it made me almost wish I was watching Aliens.
Yes. Sam, I wrote exactly the same note down. That this is definitely reminiscent of Aliens. In fact, all of the way he shot this, which I think it's gorgeous film, and
it's beautiful looking.
The way they shot underwater in these corridors, in these hallways, in the subs, in these rigs, it reminded me so much of Aliens and Terminator. All the way that he shot this, it's gorgeous. It looks
And you told me. I mean, you speak of the ticking clock and the tension. Aliens does that so much better because when they have a shootout with the aliens, they rupture the nuclear station and the power plant is going to blow up. Like in Aliens, I feel the pressure. I'm like, oh my God, how are they going to get out of there? This one kind of narratively meanders around, sort of. It's like, I feel like that's what I mean about the story, not quite coalescing. There's a lot of good pieces, but it never comes together into the pulse pounding experience that you hope it will be. I will say one thing, a quick aside, I was now years later since I've seen it, I was much more impressed with Michael Bihn's performance. He actually scared me. Like I thought I was impressed by his performance. I thought he was pretty good. It did seem like he went from like 0 to all of a sudden 100 between like two scenes. And like when we come back, he's like already losing it. But I did like his acting. I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, he is really good in this. I actually loved everybody in his team, even the two guys that are with the Navy. I think they are the most consistent performances in this movie. The other guys, the guy that gets injured, I think he's really good. I forget their names. Yeah, I think his team is solid.
Yeah, no, the two, they were great. And then when like, I was surprised when like Jammer wakes up from his coma. Like, how does he have any idea what's going on? All of a sudden he knocks out those guys. It's like, wait a minute, you just woke up from a coma. Wouldn't you be like, what the fuck is going on around here? You know,
right.
like
There's a lot of a lot of shorthand storytelling. Throughout this whole thing.
This movie's is episodic. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's like a bunch of sequences kind of. I really noticed that as a kid, I wouldn't have noticed that because I was just dazzled by all the hardware and the visual effects and that kind of thing.
All right. Let's talk about the ending for a little bit here, because I think that this is where the theatrical and the special edition differentiate the most. I'll be honest though, there really wasn't anything there's, I think 30 minutes or 25 minutes added footage in the special edition. I can't even remember anything that besides the ending that added anything.
I agree with you 1,000%. The ending was the only thing that made an impression, because that's a real like whole big scene with huge visual effects, especially for the time. But the rest of it is like, Ed Harris and Mary Elizabeth Mastrento, they have more dialogue and there's a couple more scenes. It's like slowed down a bit, but aside from the ending,
musical number, that I didn't expect.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Thank God that was cut out.
Oh my God, that was ridiculous. But like, I agree. The special edition, like, you go online and the consensus is, the special edition is like much better. But my thoughts were like, the ending was interesting, but I'll let you speak, because even I had problems with the ending. Well, tell me your thoughts, because regarding the special edition ending, oh my God, in some ways it almost irritates me a little bit. I'll just go as far as to say that I find it a little not preachy, but again, there's it's not as if it's sappy, but the whole thing with the aliens, like, we're going to kill all of you except, but then we read one text and for the love of his wife. And then there's that when they're rising up to the surface, and there's that really cheesy line way back up on the Benthic Explorer where the guy is like, guess the military's not needed anymore, huh? Or something. To me, it feels like James Cameron's ideas, but it doesn't quite coalesce. I don't buy what's actually happening. Like,
yeah. Well, my problem is the message was received by only one man who were communicating, and that was Ed Harris underwater. Everyone else on the planet is losing their minds.
Yeah, they're like, what the hell is going on here? It's like a freaking mile-high tsunami. Like, Jesus.
That just stops in the middle of about the destroying all of civilization. What is the takeaway from everybody on this planet? Do they even know that the aliens had anything to do with this? All I know is that with the United States and Russia and all these superpowers and how trigger happy we are, this probably only started World War III, because they're probably assuming, the United States is probably assuming that this is a Russian advanced super weapon and vice versa, and we're launching nukes immediately at whatever this thing is. Oh my God,
absolutely. Out of the water. And did you notice how everyone on the ship is so happy to see the aliens?
Yeah,
why would they, in real life, they would be like, Jesus Christ, what's going on?
I'm pushing the nuke button immediately at this.
Yeah, they would you think they were panicking before with the Russians. They would friggin' go crazy with this. That was so bullshit, man.
Except for Chris Elliott, who was having the time of his life watching this. Yeah.
It's like, this is awesome, but it's like,
this is the end of your life. It's probably what everyone's thinking.
But too many things happened for the sake of convenience. It's almost like with the screenwriting process, I feel like James Cameron was like, wait a minute, couldn't the ship on the surface just rescue them? Okay, I know what I'll do. I'll put a big hurricane in so they can't talk to each other. There's a whole bunch of happenstance stuff that gives him the excuse to do the scenes that he wants to do. Like, there's too much circumstantial nonsense in this movie, and I was surprised at how aggressive it was. This viewing, I'll be honest, like I was like B plus entertainment. Like, I was enjoying it, but man, was this a different experience for me watching this again? Like, surprisingly so. Yeah. So, but like the special edition at the end, that I must say, though, one thing I have to praise, I thought the special effects were very impressive. James Cameron's attention to visual detail, like even the tsunami, even though it was very old school, I thought that looked great. I thought the CGI water tentacle, even though it's like kind of CGI in its infancy, looked pretty good. I do remember in the theater at the time, I saw it with my dad and my friend, and when the water tentacle came out of the moon pool, it like exploded our brains. We were like, wait a minute, how is it possible that we're seeing something like that? And it was a little bit not sad to watch it this time, but it was antiquated, where it was like, oh, there's some decent CGI, but now CGI is so normal. At the time, I was like, I couldn't believe what I was looking at, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, there's wonderful special effects in this, but it's a little dated, but it was great for the time.
Do you prefer, if you had to watch one of them, do you prefer special edition or just regular?
I don't think I need to see this movie again.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it in the 90s. I watched this probably like a dozen times in the 90s, but I think I got. You know what? I probably would still watch maybe the theatrical, just because I don't think the 30 minutes really changed my opinion of this movie.
Well, the ending in the special edition there's something very over the top about it, whereas to me it seems more, the theatrical edition seems more grounded, even though I see no reason why the aliens who for some reason are visiting our planet and hiding underwater, why they reveal themselves to the entire fleet, like just to save one. Like what are they doing?
It is also weird that all of a sudden we're in this isolated, cold underwater environment. All of a sudden we have gone global, and we've opened this up to the whole world, and I kind of understand why maybe that was cut out for that reason. It becomes a completely different movie.
Exactly. It's too huge all of a sudden. Yeah.
Like Deep Impact or Armageddon all of a sudden becomes. And I like the idea that's becoming a very isolated, small story, keeping it there. If there's a way it could have been told without this whole global thing, but I just don't like the way that it was done underwater, where like Ed Harris is like doing all the exposition for the aliens. Oh, you don't want us to fight each other, and that whole thing. I just found it to be so like clunky and hokey, and the message was just it just didn't work for me.
No, I hear you 1,000%. That's the thing with this film where, oh my God, keep talking. I just lost my train of thought, but it'll come back. And I totally.
I don't really have anything else. I'm just kind of frustrated with the end of it because of that. Because it just,
God, yeah. That's the thing. It's like the pieces, the narrative, not quite coalescing, and oh my God, it's gone. I'll break in if it comes back.
It's okay. Well, you can get back to it in your final thoughts and your rating. So let's take a break here for a moment and come back with our ratings and our final decision on this. So.
Mark. Torpedo impact 25 seconds.
The turn, Captain.
Not sure.
Mark plus 8 seconds. Plus 9. Plus 10 seconds. Plus 11. Plus 12. Plus 13 seconds. Plus 14. Plus 15 seconds. Captain, if we're out of position by so much as a boat length.
Torpedo impact now 15 seconds.
Sound collision.
Sound collision.
Captain, we're out of the way.
You're relieved.
Foraging.
Right full rudder. Reverse starboard engine.
Right full rudder. Hold back starboard shaft. Hold back starboard shaft.
That is brilliant. Red October, a vastly superior movie, yes. I must say. And really quick, I remembered what I was going to say. It's a brief comment, but just it was making me think about other movies where aliens have visited Earth. And I was kept being reminded of Steven Spielberg's Close Encounters, which to me is a much stronger film because, one, there's more of a reason for the aliens visiting, but two, the way the humans react to it and the way the story progresses, that seems to me like something that that could actually happen. It's still a very sort of positive, optimistic view, but that film, just the way the government deals with the secrecy of it, I just feel more narrative focus, where this movie feels kind of all over the place to me. James Cameron loving water. He wants to do this. He wants to do sci-fi. And it's a real mixed bag. Mm-hmm. Some great editing, spectacular action sequences, but the film just does not coalesce to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is that your final?
That was it. Yeah, it was the Close Encounters time, because the whole time I was watching this, even the scenes that were supposed to be awe and wonder when like Mary Elizabeth is seeing them for the first time. There's something about it where I was just like, I felt what he was trying to go for, but I've seen that type of story done better in other films.
Yeah.
And I say that as a huge James Cameron fan as well.
Yeah. All right. So give it a rating.
Boy, how do we do this? I forgot. Was it stars?
No, yeah, up to 1 to 5 stars.
5 stars. I would give this movie 3 stars.
Okay. All right. And all right. So my thoughts, so I'm watching the Abyss again. I am struck by how much of Cameron's later work is already bubbling beneath the surface here, quite literally. And, you can see the seeds of like Titanic, Absolutely. In this, all those stages of chaos underwater. There's good balancing of there's human emotion and there's the whole technical spectacle that's in here. So there's good visual storytelling in this movie, I think. And there's I think a good romance in this movie. I really do love what's going on with the the Brigmans, I'll call them.
Yeah, when she almost drowns and dies and
Yep.
she's brought back, that's the one time where I actually felt like emotional. Rarely throughout the rest of the movie, I was like, but that scene, I teared up a little bit.
Yeah. And I think there's really good like art direction here. I think the rig, I love the rig. It feels fully lived in and dirty and grunty and gross. And I love this underwater world that's here. Great cinematography, all of this technical stuff, beautiful, well done. That is where I have the highest respect for this film. Like I said, Ed Harris is really grounded, vulnerable performance as well. And I like the fact that he cast someone who doesn't look like a typical Hollywood leading man also in this. They could have had, Alec Baldwin or somebody that looks like an A-list star playing this. And Ed Harris, he's balding. He's just kind of he's probably in his 40s in this movie. They could have had somebody that looks like, an Adonis model playing this, but I like that Ed Harris fits the look and the role of somebody who would be an oil worker or somebody. And I think that he's really great in this. I love the chemistry with Ed Harris and Mary Elizabeth Mastroianni. They, what they reminded me of? A lot of like Han Solo and Leia in like Empire Strikes Back, kind of the sexual tension that they had throughout this. It reminded me a lot of that. And I liked that a lot.
They were great. Yeah.
But I think this movie does fall apart a lot with the writing. I think the dialogue is painfully clunky at times, and the story just, I think, loses focus like halfway through.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think there's just a lot of flaws with that. And this movie's bold and imaginative, but that ending is bizarre and maybe just a little too sentimental.
It's funny. I saw a clip with Ed Harris there, and like an earlier or a later, like years later interview. They're like, "What'd you think of the movie?" He's like, "I love the movie, but man, that ending." Like Ed Harris is not a fan of the ending. No. So like, you're not alone.
But but I'd say I also will give this 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
It is. It's half of an excellent movie and half of a movie that has major problems.
It's ambitious. Like I applaud what he's trying to do. There's just too many lines going on here. Yeah.
And because of that, this is not top tier James Cameron. And
no.
I thought going into this, I was probably thinking that this would be a movie that I would probably give a pass to as something that is worth saving because of the technical achievements of it. But no, I'm purging this movie.
I'm purging it as well. I feel exactly the same as you. Like I don't really, I was more appreciative of being reminded of my childhood than watching the actual film. I know that sounds kind of like heartless, but it's sort of how I felt. Yeah.
All right. So it is so. All right. There it is. All right. So that we have passed judgment on The Abyss.
It was purged.
All right. It is time to get to our recommendation shelf.
Hello. Welcome to Masterpiece Video. How may I help you this afternoon, sir?
I'm looking for a copy of 8½.
Is that a new release, sir?
No, it's the classic Italian film.
Yes, sir. Just check that on the computer for you, sir. Hello. How are you young ladies this afternoon? May I help you find a particular masterpiece movie?
No.
Yes, here it is. 9.5 Weeks with Mickey Rourke. That would be in the erotic drama section.
No, not 9.5, 8.5. The Fellini film.
How about this one? Get it? I'm sure it sucks. All these movies suck.
Our recommendation shelf, late last night, we were texting back and forth, Sam. I was trying to think of like a theme for this. And you say this is not a bad idea. I feel like this is one of the worst ones I've ever thought of because, we watched The Abyss, and it's, obviously it's a high pressure environment because they're deep underwater. But I feel like we've done like a lot of like water adventure type themes. So I wanted to open it up for this one and do something a little different. And I'm just calling it pressure situations, which means that we have the option to do either high pressure or low pressure, literally environments. So we decided that one of us would do high pressure and the other one would do low pressure.
Which I misinterpreted because I thought low pressure meant like low stakes, like whatever, like have a pizza, it's all good, like your cholesterol's fine.
Oh my God! So this could be like some sort of mumblecore movie you're going to recommend, or
no? So I have a high pressure movie to recommend, but like I'm almost certain I've mentioned it before. I thought I didn't, but my memory is returning, and I'm like, no, okay. I think I've mentioned it.
So I was thinking like one might be like an underwater movie, one might be an outer space movie, but you're going to take the high pressure movie and I'm going to take the low pressure movie.
Right. And mine does involve water. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So would you like to go first?
I will. I love this movie and feel free to make fun of me because I'm certain I've mentioned it, but I am picking Ron Howard's 13 Lives about the Thailand cave.
Okay.
I feel like I must have said it at some point before, but that movie, talk about pressure and tension. I feel like he just hits that story out of the park. And I was always kind of upset. I believe it was Amazon that it was in the theaters for one weekend and then it just became a streaming movie. And why no producer or anyone didn't have the confidence to take this Ron Howard film and put it in the theater in the autumn as like a best picture contender event picture. It was really, really good. Incredible tension. The true story of the Thai soccer team that got stuck in the caves with the water level rising. I find the film harrowing and claustrophobic and well made. So I that's a strong recommend for me.
You know what? I'm embarrassed to say I have not seen this one.
I think you'd like it. It's on. I believe it's Amazon Prime. I think, but it's streaming. Like it's just it's there. It's on the service. Yeah,
it's been on my list for a while. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Really claustrophobic, but well done. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Great. I will tease that if I last night when we were deciding who was going to do who, I had a recommendation for both high pressure and low pressure. And I did kind of tip my hand. If I was going to do high pressure, I was going to recommend The Hunt for Red October, but
that's a great movie. That movie's great. Oh.
Because I do love that film and I don't think we've really talked about it much. And I would love to review that movie.
Oh my God. Let's do it sometime. John McTiernan was on fire from the late 80s to early 90s. Oh my God. That guy. Yes. Yeah.
And there's so many great quotes in that. And I keep thinking, because this is really funny, because I'll actually get to my pick for a moment, because they don't make movies like that anymore. Because this, you talk about a movie that is, that about has that tension that I want to this to have, where there's the threat of nuclear war. But this, you'll appreciate this, Sam. On a blistery, windy mornings, I do walk outside and I say to myself, it is cold and hard. Just like Sean Connery does.
Yes.
I love
Brilliant. That is awesome.
I wish I could say it in Russian, though.
I do.
It's cold and hard.
It is cold and hard. There's just one brilliant line in that where James Earl Jones, I think Alec Baldwin just really speaks his mind and shouts in a meeting, and James Earl Jones comes up to me. He's like, Jack, I wanted you to speak your mind, but Jesus, that always cracks me up.
Yeah. Now we should get to Hunt for October sometime. Yeah.
Hell yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
Okay, so for realsies, my pick, I did low pressure, and that gave me the entire spectrum of outer space movies. So I was like, whoa, my God. But I wanted to do something that made that, I don't know. So here's what I did. All right. The first time I saw Event Horizon, I remember thinking it was kind of scary and deeply unnerving. But now I can just sit back and love it for pure entertainment. And so that is my pick. I love Event Horizon. And, this movie has it all. All right.
Yeah.
You know, it really does. It's got a killer cast. It got Sam Neill, and who was in Hunt for Red October, of course. Lawrence Fishburne, Kathleen Quinlan, Jason Isaacs is in this as well, and they're giving it their all.
Yes.
And this is directed by Paul W.S. Anderson back before he went on to write and direct, like, I don't know, like 15 Resident Evil films.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever. So this is before that. And this is a really well-made movie. I think, I know it gets a bad rap sometimes, but I think it's coming back around to something that's being appreciated more now.
I enjoy that. I and honestly, in the summer of 1997, when that came out, I wanted to see it, but I was 16 and the movies are. And so my dad, no one else wanted to go with me. And so I couldn't get to it in the theater, but I really wanted to see it, but my parents weren't interested in it. So I was like, well, damn, I barely had my license then,
Yeah. Well, I see. This is the ultimate haunted house in space movie. So I love this. And okay, I might be overselling the greatness of this just a little bit, but
it's fun though. It's fun.
I love this because it nails tension. It's got an incredible sense of geography. I think also you always know where you are on the ship, and if the ship itself feels like it's a living, breathing character, which is kind of the point of the movie. But that's what I love about when these types of movies are done right. There's many movies that it's just a garbled mess where it's just like kills and it doesn't really make any sense. But this movie really is pacing itself. It's good storytelling, and it's really just a fun ride. So I really highly recommend this. And it's wild, it's very 90s. It's really gory. It's weird. And so, yeah, good sci-fi horror. It's not going to change your life, but it'll definitely make you think twice about booking a deep space, cruise anytime soon.
Yeah, it's genuinely creepy too. I mean, when the ship comes back and it's been gone all, and you see it just like sitting there and you're like, that movie's a lot of fun. Now I actually kind of want to watch it.
So, and it's streaming right now on Peacock and Hoopla for free, and you can rent it on VOD.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
I know.
That's a good choice.
I could have gone highbrow, but I did not.
No, I like that. No, that's a very good choice. I'm sold. Like I saw it, but it was several years ago, so I'm going to watch it again. Like I enjoyed Event Horizon.
All right. Excellent. All right. So next thing. So Sam, we are beginning November, which is a big movie month, but I think that for this next segment, we're just going to talk about a movie that we're both anticipating for this upcoming month. And you were going to pick something, I was going to pick something, but we decided that we both are most excited about the same movie coming up.
Yes.
And that is Edgar Wright's The Running Man remake, coming out on November 14th. Now, I think I wouldn't have been nearly as excited if I didn't know that Edgar Wright wasn't behind this as well, which makes it even doubly exciting for me, which this is really cool. Hey, let me play I have the trailer for this here. So let me throw a few seconds of this up here. It's pretty cool.
Ben Richards, 35, married, one child, in medical crisis.
We need money for a doctor now.
Ben, watch us up.
Employment status, blacklisted. But there's still a way out for you. It's the biggest show in the country.
Bloodlust is our birthright! Set it free! Welcome to The Running Man!
Glenn Powell's back. You gonna finish your chewing there?
Finish my chips yet? No, I'm excited about that because one, I think the trailer looks pretty good anyway, but also as an Edgar Wright fan, I have the feeling with, Glenn Powell being this movie has more, or at least it appears to have more box office potential than some of his recent films. And so I'm in his corner. I hope this movie infuses his style with the story, and Glenn Powell's performance is great. Like if this movie is the movie that I think it's going to be, I think it could be very entertaining.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited. What was the last time you saw the original Running Man?
Oh, it's been so long. Like honestly, like childhood long, to the point where I don't even remember it well, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I would watch it again, but it's been years, decades.
All right. I haven't seen it in Oh, it's probably been a good 20 years or so.
Yeah, it's a very faded memory. Yeah.
Very, very quotable movie too, though. I can't wait. I like to see that again sometime. That's the one thing I'm worried about. Like, they make these remakes and they're, they're very hit and miss, but there's something like this. Is this going to live in the zeitgeist like the original does? How do you replace Arnold Schwarzenegger and the
Yeah.
impact that he left in this kind of film,
Yeah, and Arnold Schwarzenegger is so larger than life. You know what I mean? Like it's like classic. So,
and this is peak prime Schwarzenegger. So
exactly.
I don't know. I mean, it looks good and they got a good team behind it, but I don't know.
I'm optimistic, but we'll see.
Yeah. So, all right. Well,
were you going to mention the films that you'd seen recently? Because I was actually really interested in that.
I almost forgot about that. Yes, thank you for bringing that up. So,
no problem.
Yeah, there's a couple things I was going to mention that. It's funny. It's been a very busy fall for me so far, and I have not gotten to the theater as much as I normally do or would like to. I do want to mention one movie that I have seen that I loved. I don't know if you've seen it yet.
I've seen it twice. I saw it in London, 70 millimeter.
Oh, wow.
Loved it. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So I'm talking about One Battle After Another, the new Paul Thomas Anderson film, which I think is phenomenal.
Loved it.
And the more I think about it, and I read some more about it, the more I love it even more because so here are a few quick thoughts. I think this is one of Paul Thomas Anderson's best films.
I would put it in his top 3 film. I mean, I was really impressed. Yeah.
I wasn't really over the moon with Phantom Thread. I remember Licorice Pizza I thought was decent, but I didn't love it. But first of all, I think this is just the fact that we have Leonardo DiCaprio and PTA working together. This is like a dream, combo of talent. And I think he's terrific in this. I love that for an A-list star of his stature, he has no qualms about looking disheveled or buffoonish in his movies. And this just makes me appreciate what he does with his career choices even more. I mean, what he did in Killers of the Flower Moon, like he will take on these roles where he is not afraid to be shown in an unflattering light. And I have the highest respect for what he's doing these days. And he is grown into the type of actor that is almost like what Cary Grant became in his 50s and later. So I just love what he is doing now, more than just a pretty face, like where he was in his 20s.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So it's real great. So the cast in this is just turning in unbelievable performance. Benicio del Toro is the karate sensei and brings this gravitas and calmness to all the chaos that's going on around him.
I saw a great Q&A, literally Steven Spielberg was interviewing P.T. Anderson. They were just talking about One Battle After Another. And Spielberg said that it is his favorite Sean Penn performance. He said in this movie, it's his favorite Sean Penn performance. I thought Sean Penn was incredible.
Sean Penn is all but guaranteed a best supporting actor.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. And he not only Sean Penn was great, he developed a whole walk for this movie, like he's got a rod up his ass the whole movie. But I think beyond just the performances and the great writing, what I think is, by the way, the pacing and momentum.
Oh my God.
Is so good. It just moves. And I think it's aided by this propulsive, rat-a-tat energy that is driven by there's a Johnny Greenwood score that is just so good in this movie.
Yeah.
But I think what is refreshing that what a lot of movies lack that about, I'm tongue tied here, but is that this movie is about something. And you got this father-daughter relationships, this systemic power, the polarized world that we live in, and the extremism actually on both sides, is what we're talking about here. And it really is bringing on a lot of, I think, conversations that I've read online, and it's just movie that I think everybody needs to see, and it's incredible.
And you talk about the pacing. This movie was 2 hours and 45 minutes, and it went by in a flash for me. When it got to the end, I was like, oh, it was so good. I would have loved a little bit more. Like, I was so entertained.
Yeah.
The movie it didn't feel like short, but it just like zipped by. It was just incredible.
It is the fastest 2 hour and 45 minute movie I've ever seen.
God. Me too.
It does. And funny too. Like
hysterical. The Christmas Adventurers Club, those guys. I was like, oh my God, this is
Hail Saint Nick. Is that what it was? Or
just amazing.
Yeah. So it was really loved that. I'm going to see it again. I want to see it again in the theater before it goes out. I think it's in the last week or two. I'm going to try to.
It's funny because I saw it in 70 millimeter, but the problem was I was at this theater called the Odeon in Leicester Square in London. But what it is, it's a premier theater, but it's like an old kind of stage style theater. And so the seat I had, the screen was extremely small and far away. So I felt like I was watching it in an echo chamber. So I made a point to go see it again a week later in a modern theater with and I'm so glad I did, because nothing against that theater. It's classic. It's historic. I love it. I saw the Two Towers there. It was like one of the best movie theater experiences I had in my life. But long story short, one battle after another is even better a second time. It's just, it doesn't diminish at all. It just, it gets better and better. Like, I think it's one of his best. I think it's a strong best picture, best director contender. We'll see.
No doubt it's going to be right up there. Good. Anything you want to mention?
I will say very briefly, I'm a huge fan of the Conjuring films, and I did see the Conjuring Last Rites, which I was really happy for its enormous box office. For me, the appeal of that movie is Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, and they were great. I thought the movie itself was okay, so, but spoiler free, it was fun watching them. And this movie is the last film in the Conjuring universe, specifically about the two of them. So they are like dispatched to their destinies in this film, not death or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, the story makes it clear that this is the last movie that's going to focus on them. And I felt very nostalgic. I'm surprised. It just made me aware of all the time that's passed since 2013, The Conjuring, which I love. So I enjoyed it. But in terms of the thrills and the scary story itself, it was just solid and okay, but it was worth it seeing it for the two of them. The movie itself, fine. I don't know if I would hugely recommend it, but I like that. They are such good actors, and their chemistry, like they're the characters that made the movie for me. So I'd give it, like maybe like barely 3 stars, 2.5, but like, wow, I like seeing them. Yeah.
Ring an endorsement, Sam.
Oh yeah.
All
yeah.
Right.
Well, like you, I haven't seen a lot of movies recently. This is the only other one, but like, I like them a lot. So see it, give it a chance, but you don't have to go to the theater to see it. You know, watch it on streaming.
Okay. All right. I think that brings us to the close of our show, but just want to mention that stay tuned for a next episode we're going to do, and that's going to be maybe in a few weeks or a month. We're going to drop an episode, the next episode on our James Cameron retrospective. We're going to do True Lies, which I haven't seen since it came out. I've seen it one time in my life.
Oh wow, this will be a good conversation.
The bridge is out. What? The bridge is out.
Little sneak peek there. Can't wait to see that.
That's going to be great. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. So that is our show for this week. Back to the Frame Rate is part of the Weston Media Podcast Network. Special thanks to Brian Ellsworth for our show opening. On behalf of all of us, we bid you farewell from the fallout shelter. If you enjoy the show, please subscribe and leave a rating review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform. You will always find our episodes at backtotheframerate.com. This is the end of our transmission. Back to the Frame Rate. Signing off.
want you to know it's over.
Well, bye.